Hello everyone. As promised, I'm thrilled to launch our brand new series, Azure Fundamentals AZ-900. This series is designed to be your ultimate guide to mastering the essentials of Microsoft Azure. We'll break down core concepts, navigate Azure's key services, and equip you with knowledge to confidently manage resources with the platform. Earning AZ-900 certification validates your understanding of these fundamentals, making you a more attractive candidate in job market and empowering you to leverage the power of Azure. Whether you are a budding IT professional or business user, series provides you the perfect launchpad for your cloud journey. So are you ready to take your cloud expertise to the next level? Let's jump in.
Question number 1, Azure China is A, operated by Microsoft, B, has feature parity with Azure Global, C, services can be accessed from China only, and D, is a distinct separate instance of Microsoft Azure. So let's analyze each option. So the first one, Azure China is actually operated by a company called as 21YNet. It's a Chinese company and it's partnered with Microsoft. So first one is wrong. Second, it says Azure China has feature parity with Azure Global. Actually, that's not correct. Azure China has a feature parity gap with Azure Global, which means not all features are going to be available in both the versions. So option B is wrong. Option C, services of Azure China can be accessed from China only. No, that's not correct. You can access a workload that is deployed on Azure China anywhere globally. So that's wrong. And that leaves us with option D, which is the correct answer. Azure China is a distinct separate instance of Microsoft Azure. And I will share documentation from Microsoft Azure for you. And you will get the link for this in video description. As you can see, Microsoft Azure is operated by 21YNet. It's a physically separated instance of cloud services located in China, and it is independently operated and transacted by Shanghai Blue Cloud Technology Company Limited. So that's why we're going for option D. I also have a slide for you which can help you understand this even more. Azure physically separate instance of Azure Cloud Services and is operated by 21YNet. That's it on this question. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 2, the company would like to develop a cloud solution by making use of Azure Government. Azure Government can only be used by certain types of clients to develop cloud solutions. Which of the following are the types of customer that can make use of Azure Government in this situation? Now, the way this question and many of the questions in Azure exam come as AZ-900 and other Azure exam is where you have some sort of drag and drop area. But essentially, it is all about choosing the right option from given options. So we will be solving it in a usual way. In exam, when you get it, you may get some drag and drop screen controls. So let's analyze this option. And in this particular case, I'm not going to go across all the options. Essentially, Azure Government can only be used by US government entity and US government contractor, and that you need to know. Anything else, whatever options you must have got, those are all incorrect. So option A, B, C, D, which is government from any country or contractor from any country, European government contractor or European government entity, all are incorrect. So those are incorrect options. The correct answer for this question is Azure Government can be used by United States of America government contractor and United States government entity itself. You might get this problem in multiple formats where in addition to the US government contractor and government entity options, you might get some other options as well. But the answer is in this case, option F and option E. And to support this particular choice of answer, I have a reference documentation from Microsoft Azure. As you can see, it says US government agencies and their partner industries and cloud services that meet security and compliance requirement can basically use Microsoft Azure government. You can go through this particular page just to understand this a bit more in detail. But just knowing that Azure government can be used by US government and their contractors is good enough for the exam. That's it on this question. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 3, Azure Site Recovery provides dash dash for virtual machines. And we have 4 options. Let's go through each of the option and eliminate the wrong option and choose the correct one. So site recovery is essentially a disaster recovery solution. And that's the answer. But let's see how other options are not fit in this case. First one, fault tolerance. Now, fault tolerance is typically achieved within a single availability zone or region within mechanism like, availability sets or just the data centers, where one data center goes, you have another data center and you are making it fault tolerant. But when you talk about site recovery is all about, it is at region level. So that's even beyond region, to be honest. So we are talking about a region collapse, and then your site recovery is able to fail over to a second region. So option A is wrong. Then the next one wrong is elasticity. To be honest, that's the first one wrong, because uh, site recovery is nothing to do with elasticity. Elasticity refers to an ability that you can scale the resources up and down based on the demand. But this is not the feature of site recovery. Option D, high availability. Now this is also wrong, because high availability ensures continuous operation of application during failures within a region. Site recovery, however, has a different focus. It focuses on outages or the disaster that could take the whole region out of the equation. So high availability is gone. And then, as we discussed in the beginning of this conversation, disaster recovery is the correct answer. Azure Site Recovery focuses on disaster recovery for virtual machines. It replicates the VMs to a secondary region, allowing to a failover to a replicated VM in case of disaster in the primary region. So that's how it goes. So you can see Azure Site Recovery, the main definition is keep your business running with built-in disaster recovery service. So that's the key here, and you can read about it in more detail, but essentially it's a disaster recovery service, and that's the answer. That's it on this question. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 4, to which cloud models can you deploy physical servers? And you have different options. Now, in order to understand this particular question, you need to know that in order to deploy physical servers, you need physical servers, and that is available in case of you have your own hardware, you are maintaining your own hardware, which is basically on premises. In other words, private cloud. So you need to have your own cloud, and you can have private cloud in different models. So you can obviously have it in private cloud model. You can also have it in hybrid, because in case of hybrid, you have public cloud as well as private cloud. Any other model, public on its own, will not have any element of private cloud or physical server, so you can't deploy there. So basically, you have to use that logic, and now this answering this question becomes easy. So if you see option A, then that's actually a correct option, but we will then go over others to see why they are incorrect. So option B is the wrong one, as we know. It's just say private cloud only. No, you can do private cloud and any other cloud model, which is hybrid cloud, which has an element of on-prem or physical data centers. So option B is wrong for that. Option C says private cloud, hybrid cloud, and public cloud. Now, private and hybrid is correct, but you can't do it to public cloud. So deployment to public cloud is incorrect. So that's wrong. The next one wrong is option D, hybrid cloud only. Hybrid cloud you can deploy, but there is one more cloud model, which is private cloud, which is missing here. So this is also incomplete and incorrect option for that reason. And that leaves us with option A, which is what we discussed earlier. Both of these cloud models has physical servers part of the architecture, and that's why this is the correct answer. Here is some documentation from Microsoft Azure around different types of cloud models, public, private, hybrid clouds. You can go through this documentation to understand a bit more in detail. That's it on this question. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 5, you need to be notified when Microsoft plans to perform maintenance that can affect the resources deployed to an Azure subscription. what should you use in this case? There are 4 options here. Let's go through each option and understand which is the correct option and which are the wrong options and for what reasons. So the keywords here, now we have questions where we can start marking keywords. So it's all about notification. There is a maintenance task that you would like to you're performing and which could have an impact on deployed resources to an Azure subscription, and you are looking for a service that would notify when Microsoft plans this kind of maintenance. So the keyword here is notification. And what you want to know is when Microsoft plans to perform maintenance that can affect the deployed resources on your Azure subscription, then what should you use? Now, let's see what we have. There are lots of wrong options here. The first one wrong is Azure Advisor. Now, Azure Advisor is just a recommendation service for optimizing Azure resources. It doesn't do any notification itself, so that's wrong. The next one wrong, I think option D, Trust Center. Now, Microsoft Trust Center is a resource center containing information about Microsoft's security patches and compliance certification. So that's the purpose of this particular service. It doesn't do any specific service notification with respect to maintenance tasks. So that's wrong. And what we have, Azure Monitor. Now that appears close, but again, this is not a correct answer. It's a general purpose service, monitoring service that can be used for various purposes, including monitoring resources. So that leaves us with option B, which is our correct answer, Azure Service Health, which is what actually focuses on service level notifications for Azure services, including planned maintenance. So this is a service which does proactive notification for activities like planned maintenance by Microsoft. And that's our correct answer, option B, Azure Service Health. And you could refer to this documentation from Microsoft Azure. You can see Azure Service Health notifies you about Azure service incidents and planned maintenance, so you can take action to mitigate the downtime. So that's why we've gone for this particular option. That's it on this question. Let's move on to the next question.
Before moving on to the next question, if you're finding this analysis and discussion useful, then please hit that subscribe button if you're not already done it. Thank you.
Question number 6, an Azure region contains one or more data centers connected with low latency network. Which option out of below 4 options is accurate? So let's look at what are the keywords here. So essentially it says an Azure, it's a definition of Azure region and we don't know whether it is correct. Does it need any changes? And that's where the 4 options come into picture. But let's read the definition again. An Azure region contains one or more data centers connected with low latency network. Actually, it does appear to be a correct answer to me. Essentially, your region is all about multiple data centers, and these data centers are going to be connected with low latency network link so that you have faster data speeds. But let's see what we have in terms of options. The most incorrect option to me is option B. It says Azure regions are found in each country where Microsoft has subsidiary offices. No, it's nothing to do with Microsoft offices. Azure regions are strategically located based on the factors like population density, internet connectivity, and not necessarily office location. It's based on the demand for the data rather than where you have your corporate offices. So option B is wrong. Then the next one, incorrect and pretty illogical. It says can be found in every country in Europe and America only. No, it's nothing to do with Europe and America. Azure regions are available countries outside Europe and America. I'll refer some documentation to you, which can make it very clear to you where exactly Azure regions are across the globe. So option C is wrong. The next one incorrect is option D. It says the Azure region contains one or more data centers, which is fine, but the second part says it has high latency network. No, that's wrong, because if your network is high latency, the data speed is not going to be great, and that's something we don't want. So option D is incorrect as well. And that leaves us with option A, no change needed. This is a correct statement, the statement given in the problem. Azure region indeed is one or more data centers connected with low latency network, and we don't need anything to change here. So our correct answer is option A. And let's look at some reference documentation. In fact, it's a visual for you. You can go to this link, and I'll provide this link in the video description, and you can look at on this particular interactive map the location of Azure data centers, Azure regions. I have another view of it. And you can see here, Azure regions are across all the globe. It's highly concentrated in United States and Europe, um, not so much in, say, South America and Africa, but you can also see it's it has its presence in Asia Pacific as well. So question number 7, dash dash is a Apache Spark-based analytics service, and you have 4 options. It's really a definition of the service. You need to know the service, and that's the objective of AZ-900. Most of the question is going to be about the service definitions, or in some cases, it will be about the secondary feature of each service. So really, Azure fundamentals is about knowing fundamentals of Azure services. And this is one classic example of it. Essentially, we want to know what is a Spark-based analytics service, and we have few options here. Now, first one, Azure Data Factory. Now, Azure Data Factory is not an analytics service. It is basically your extract, transform, load service, ETL, and it is not an analytics one. So that one is wrong. Azure DevOps, that is also an incorrect answer. It's a suite of services for DevOps practices. It's not for Spark's analytics. It's your CI/CD pipeline service. So DevOps is incorrect. And the next one, which you might feel that's the correct one, as it says it's Azure Synapses Analytics. So there is a word uh, common here, which is in the question as well as in the answer. It is used for analytics, which is fine. That's an analytics service, Azure Synapses Analytics, but it is not based on the Sparks. So that leaves us with option A, Azure Databricks. This indeed is a Apache Spark-based analytics service offered by Microsoft Azure, and this is the correct answer. Let's look at some documentation for about Databricks, and as you can see, it's design AI with Apache Spark-based analytics, and that's the one-line purpose or objective of this service. And you can see you can do big data analytics with artificial intelligence with optimized Apache Spark here. You can look at the architecture diagram also here and also go a bit more in detail so that you are familiar with the service. But from exam perspective, as long as you know that Databricks is a Spark-based analytics service, that should be sufficient, at least for AZ-900 scope. That's it on this question. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 8, it says an Azure service is available to all customers when it is in public preview. And the options are no change needed, private preview, development, and enterprise agreement subscription. So let's analyze this in detail and then figure out the correct answer. So what does it say is what is the Azure services available to all customers when it is in public preview? Actually, when the service is in public preview, that means it's available to everybody. So according to me, it will be no change needed. But let's go through the options and see which options are incorrect, and we'll confirm if our understanding is right or wrong. So first one wrong, according to me, is development. Obviously, when you are in development stage, you will never have services available to all customers. In fact, they'll be available to not even internal customers or not even on trials. So option C is obviously wrong. When you are developing a service, you just have access to development team member or the Microsoft teams who are going to be working on it in terms of developing the service. So option C is wrong. The next one wrong for me is option D. With an enhanced subscription like enterprise agreement, you may have certain features, but additional to the regular users. But when services are in public preview, they are equally accessible for all the customers. So this option is wrong for me. And the next one wrong, private preview as well. Private preview is actually not available for open for everyone. It is a limited stage preview where access is granted only to specific users or organization. And generally there is invitation sent to certain users to be participate in private preview. I will see if I can refer you to some documentation around how private previews are arranged. But for now, it's good enough to know that this is not the correct answer for general availability of the service. And that leaves us with option A, which is no change needed. And that's what we said when we read this statement. When an Azure service is in public preview, it's available to all customers. You don't need any additional subscription, or you don't need to be part of a private preview. So that's our answer, option A. That's it on this question. Let's move on to the next question. What is guaranteed in Azure Service Level Agreement, SLA? Is it uptime? Is it feature availability? Is it bandwidth? Is it performance? So the keyword here is SLA. That's the keyword that we're looking at. And what is the guarantee we get in as part of the SLA agreement? I think the first one wrong to me is feature availability. SLA is nothing to do with feature availability. Feature availability is not something that an SLA guarantees. While Microsoft strives to maintain consistent features across their services, new features might be rolled out gradually, and some features might be specific to certain region or service tiers, and that can happen. SLAs typically don't, guarantee the availability of every single feature within a service. So SLA is not to measure that. So that's wrong. Second wrong to me is option C, bandwidth. Bandwidth refers to basically amount of data, you can transfer per unit of time. So it's basically speed of data transfer. Now, that's not what SLA guarantees. Azure offers different pricing uh, based on bandwidth usage, but SLA typically focuses on something else, and that's actually service availability, and we'll look at it. So this is an incorrect answer. SLA doesn't guarantee bandwidth. So option C is wrong. And the next one is performance as well. Performance not guaranteed by SLA. It depends on various factors, which includes resource utilization in your region, network condition, and workload type. So SLA is something that is not going to guarantee performance, and that leaves us with option A, which is uptime, and that's what SLA is all about. SLA defines Microsoft's commitment to the availability and operational performance of the Azure services. Uptime refers to the percentage of a time service is accessible. Most cloud services aim for near 100% uptime. You cannot guarantee 100%, but they will always like to be as close as 99.9 to 99.999, and that's what Azure aims for. Uptime is the feature that Azure SLA tries to guarantee. And in case you do not get the SLA you have signed up for, then the organization and Microsoft in this case will be liable to give service credits to the users. And I will show you some documentation around it. So if you can see here, this tells us the definition of SLA. SLA describes Microsoft's commitment for uptime and connectivity for Microsoft online services, and that's applicable to Azure and everything that Microsoft does. So this is a common definition from Microsoft as a overall SLA. And here is some formulas around uptime calculation. And in case that your SLA is lower than a certain uptime guarantee, then what credits you will get. So if it's less than 99.9, as per this, you will get 10% credit. If it is less than 99%, then you will get 25% credit. So that's all about uptime and about this question. Question number 10. So this is a simple question to finish with. We have done a similar question earlier about Azure government, and the question basically says which two types of customers are eligible to use Azure government to develop a cloud solution, and we have few options. As I had mentioned earlier, you will get variations of option, but what you need to look for is United States government entity, United States government contractor. That's the correct answer. Everything else is incorrect. Canadian government contractor, no, that's not correct. European government contractor, not correct. And also European government entity is not correct. That's the correct answer. That's it on this question. And I believe this was the last question of this particular episode. I will see you in the next episode of this series soon. Thank you. This is Exam Tips and Tips, and you're watching Azure Fundamentals AZ-900 question series. See you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.